Welcome to this presentation on food, mood, and the danger of dairy, a plant-based approach to healing the mind-body connection. My name is Ellicott Clinkscale. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I've been practicing a plant-based vegan lifestyle for the past 3 years. At a mental health clinician, I make it a practice to assess each of my clients' diet, exercise, and sleep habits during our first session together, and I provide some general information about how what we eat impacts our overall well-being. You see, there's a direct correlation between physical and mental health. Having good mental health is more than the absence of illness, rather is a state of holistic well-being. So let me ask you a question. How often do you think about the connection between what you eat and how you feel? Not just physically, but mentally. Your mood, your focus, your energy. It seems we're all discussing mental health and wellness more often these days, which is great. But there's a piece of the conversation that often gets overlooked, and that's the role of food, specifically dairy, in how we feel and function every day. So today I want to walk you through some compelling science around dairy and its impact on both our bodies and our brains, particularly in the communities of color, and how we can reclaim our health with more intentional plant-based choices. So why does this matter? Why even talk about dairy? So let's start with the basics. The truth is, for a lot of people, especially African Americans, dairy just doesn't sit well. And this for one reason, according to Bobby Price, author of Vegetation Over Medications. We're genetically and structurally incompatible with cows. You see, nature engineered every animal's milk suitable for its own specific developmental needs. And the enzymes, hormones, sugars, and protein composition of cow's milk are not even close to human breast milk. You see, milk is not made for human consumption. It was made by mother cows to be consumed by baby cows, who need to grow from about 100 pounds at birth to about 1,600 pounds by full adulthood in just 2 years. You see, 80 to 90% of African Americans are lactose intolerant. And that means when we consume dairy, our bodies lack the enzyme needed to break it down. So instead of being digested, it ferments, causing bloating, gas, cramping, and even diarrhea. And these are just more than annoying symptoms. They're signs of inflammation. And this just isn't about discomfort. Dairy has measurable associations with serious health issues, especially for people of color. But it doesn't end with lactose intolerance. Dairy's been linked to other chronic health issues, including asthma and mucus buildup. You ever notice how many people get congested after eating ice cream? Hormone-sensitive cancers like prostate and breast cancer, and skin issues like acne and eczema. So the next time you hear somebody say, milk, it does a body good, it's worth asking, whose body? So let's talk about dairy's impacts on the gut-brain axis. You see, your gut and brain are constantly in conversation with something called the vagus nerve. It's like a high-speed highway of messages going both ways. Your gut even has its own nervous system, known as the enteric nervous system, sometimes called your second brain. And get this, over 90% of your serotonin, the neurotransmitter that helps regulate mood, is made in the gut and not the brain. You see, now dairy disrupts this gut-brain connection in a few key ways. One, it can cause leaky gut. The protein in milk, called casein, irritates the gut lining for many people. And this can cause small gaps that form in the intestinal wall, allowing toxins to leak into the bloodstream. The result, brain fog, fatigue, and even depression. Another thing, microbiome imbalance. Dairy feeds harmful bacteria and crowds out the good microbes we need for healthy mood and stable energy. When your gut microbiome is off, you feel it by experiencing things like anxiety, food cravings, and emotional ups and downs. Another thing is chronic immune response. About 70% of your immune system lives in the gut. When we are constantly triggering it with things like dairy, it keeps your body in a low-grade fight or flight mode, which affects not only your digestion, but your mental clarity and resilience. So gut health isn't just about digestion, it's about mental health too. You see, dairy just doesn't sit in the stomach. It shifts the whole balance of communication between the gut and the brain. So we can't talk about the dangers of dairy without addressing cheese addiction. You see, cheese is quite tough to quit, not just because you lack willpower, but because it's literally addictive. You see, milk contains proteins called casein, which break down into casomorphins, a mildly addictive substance which encourages the cows to keep coming back for more. So when you as a human digest casein from cheese, which is a highly concentrated form of milk, your body also breaks it down into casomorphins, which act like opioids in the brain, triggering your reward system. That's why cheese gives you that calming, comfortable, pleasurable feeling. You see, it's subtle, but it's real. Now, if you combine that with high fat salt, umami flavor, you've got a triple threat that lights up the brain's dopamine centers, just like sugar or even nicotine. And repeated exposure wires your brain to crave it even more. There's also the social and emotional associations we have with cheese-based dishes. Think about macaroni and cheese on the holidays, pizza parties, or nachos on game days. It's about comfort, it's about culture, it's about how we connect with our family and friends, and even how we cope with stress. But here's the twist. Those foods that feel emotionally comforting, they may be contributing to a worsening of your mood over time. You see, the inflammation that many people get when they consume dairy is linked to depression and anxiety. The disruption of the gut-brain axis affects serotonin production. Feeling sluggish, irritable, foggy is not just in your head, it is a biochemical response. This is more than just chemistry or biology. It's about identity, memory, and culture. And that's why it's hard to let go. Now, I know all this information can be overwhelming, but I want to reassure you that you can reclaim control of your mental and physical health with more intentional plant-based choices. In fact, many traditional African cultures, dairy wasn't a staple. People thrived on plant-based, fiber-rich, fermented foods that supported both physical and mental well-being. It was colonialism through slavery, missionary schools, and later corporate marketing that introduced dairy into Black communities in particular. So rejecting dairy isn't just a health move. It is just a way of reclaiming cultural wisdom, honoring ancestral knowledge, and building a more conscious path forward. So what do? Well, first, let's acknowledge withdrawal is real. When you try to eliminate dairy, you may experience fatigue, moodiness, or even intense cravings for a few days. That's normal, but it usually passes in about a week. Second, replace, don't just remove. Try avocados and nuts and seeds for healthy fats. Vegan cheese is made from cashews, almonds, or coconut. Fermented foods to help restore your gut microbiome, things like kimchi, sauerkraut, and even plant-based yogurts. Pair that with mindful eating and stress-reducing practices because food isn't just fuel, it's emotional. So let's wrap this up with some practical options. Again, try some dairy-free alternatives that include milks made from almond, oat, flaxseed, hemp, or soy. Cheeses such as cashew cheese, coconut cheese, nutritional yeast. And if you like yogurts, look for almond or coconut-based products with added probiotics. Look for some gut-friendly, mood-boosting foods, including fermented miso and tempeh, prebiotics such as banana, garlic, onions, oats, omega-3s such as flaxseed, chia seed, and walnuts. Kale greens, spinach greens, and collards also help to stabilize your gut, support your mood, and give you that long-term energy and clarity we all desire. You see, food isn't just what we eat, it's how we live, it's how we feel. And when we eat with awareness, we take back control, not just of our health, but of our history, our habits, and our future. Listen, I know change can be challenging, but it may help to remember that the human body has no more need for cow's milk than it does for dog's milk, horse's milk, or giraffe's milk. Thank you for watching, and be sure to check out my resource page for more information about the topics discussed in this presentation.